Use your difference to make a difference.
We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing.
Every story can change the world.
My name is Sn1, but you will soon see why they call me Slay.
Bubbly, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm a character. I'm the guy that brings the joy into the room.
Life will throw you challenges, but it's about how you handle the process that will reveal your true potential.
My journey is to take one Africa to the world.
I'm a tomboy. I like to get down and dirty when I need to.
If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Cover your top before you're born.
Build a team, execute the dream.
I believe sometimes in life you have to create your own opportunity.
My motto in life is simple. Don't worry, be happy.
Welcome everybody to another episode of The African Millennials. I'm your host, Ty Roxon, and I'm joined as always by my fellow cast members. Representing the ladies, we've got Lucy, we've got Sydney Love, Nostrea, and Tsunami. And for the fellas, we've got A Crown, Milan, KMS, and Bookie from the Bookie Show.
Why do you look like that?
No, you went that way and then went that way. I like the way you did that.
No, it's fine. But today's topic is something I'm really, really passionate about. It's, hitting your kids. Is it considered child abuse or is it discipline?
Discipline.
Well, let's get started. So why don't you all tell me about your experience growing up with your parents hitting you? I'll start with
snitching? Okay.
Yeah, snitching right now. Start with I'll start with the ladies. What was your experience like when your parents were disciplining you?
I definitely got hit as a child. I think because of my experiences, I'm kind of more against it if it's brutal. Cause I got some brutal ass whoopings.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything. That's
what they all say.
No, I really didn't. So it made me angry. You know what I mean? If it was if I was really guilty of whatever I was accused of doing, I'd be okay, this is my punishment. But sometimes it went overboard and I became angry. I became very, very angry. There was one point I just couldn't take it anymore and I just hit back.
You hit back?
I did.
It got to that level.
It does happen.
I did.
What about you,
Was it your mom?
It was my dad.
Oh, you went against the grain. Okay.
Wow.
Nah, that's fair enough. I mean,
Did you come back to the house? Did you sleep?
Yeah, I did.
but that's it.
She named it. But let's hear the other perspectives.
I was raised by my aunt and I've been beaten many, many times. I've done so many punishments. There were certain beatings where it just made me I wanted to just run away. I was I don't know, I can't deal with this. I would talk to my brother and I'm I gotta do this. I gotta just sleep out of school or something because I can't do this no more. And one time my aunt, she was standing right by the door and she was listening to everything. So it just made the whole situation even worse. So she said, so you don't want to stay here. You want to run away? Oh yeah, go. Pack your stuff and go. And I'm just no, I'm just saying that. No, when school comes, I'm not talking about right now because I don't know where to go. Oh yeah, take your stuff out. Oh yeah, let's go. You want to complain? You want to talk? Oh yeah, go. And I'm just oh, please take me, and I'm so sorry. Deep down, I know that she doesn't mean any harm. I have respect for people who are older than me, period. That's just how I am. Even if they beat me, I wouldn't even hit them back. Knowing fully well I can hold them down. Yo, if I wanted to. There's one time, my aunt, she's just a funny person. But one time I came back from school with my report card and I had 80s. listen, 80s to me and 85s, it's like, wow, I did good. You know, especially like the school. Like the school is a very like hood school. It's a hood-ass school. South Shore, if you don't know, it's in Brooklyn. So I wanted to play soccer, and you know, I showed her I said, okay, this is what I got. Okay, I'm going to, where are you going? I said, what do you mean? Where are you going? I said, I just want to go and play with my friends, this and that. She said, you're not going anywhere. I said, oh, hell no. No, I can't deal with this. Enough is enough. So what I did, I went to the door. This lady, she ran her room so fast. She grabbed my pants, ripped it. She beat the oh my God. I would never forget that day. Because everybody's different. I prefer beating because it's quick. Nobody's gonna stand there and just beat you till, you know, people get tired. It requires a lot of energy. So like my aunt, she'll tell me to do certain punishments, pick pin, sit in there. I'd rather lean on the wall. I can't lean on the wall. I just have to like just stay there for a good 1 hour, and I'm just sweating and I'm just turning red. And I'm just like, you know what happens if I just fall on the floor? She'll beat me, right? And I'm just like, I looked at her, you know, to the point I had to hold her. She said, oh, you're going to hit me. You're going to hit me. That's what we're doing now. Oh, man. And then her husband would walk by and he'll just be looking and just go along with, I said, okay. So
you can't beat too.
Right. So I'm just like, and then she gonna tell everybody in the family, did you know this girl did? She gonna beat me left and right. I'm just like,
that's
I have a lot more, but
so
you know.
it's safe to say that you definitely.
I've experienced a lot.
All right. What about you, Sydney?
I mean, I've gotten spanked. I could draw the line between knowing if I got beat or like spanked. I've gotten spanked. I've gotten slapped more times. My family is a family of pulling ears and twisting ears. I got my ears twisted so many times. I'm surprised I can hear. Surprised I can DJ. Surprised. But yeah, I've gotten spanked. I don't know. My dad never really hit me. The only one time I can remember he hit me was when like I was really young.
Lucy.
No, unfortunately, I don't
know.
Unfortunately, I don't know what to call it. But I didn't experience that. But I mean, my mom is pretty tough. My dad was a military man, so it was kind of like stern, like, you know, you don't play around. But for the most part, my mom's like raised us, and I think I was like the goody two shoes, like with my siblings, and it was almost like I would put my siblings in a place to get. You know, or like snitch, I suppose, but for the most part, no. But I mean, if my mom does like talk to me, it's like that, it's worse. I think almost like a look or like a stern voice or like, but no, or actually, she may have threatened once, like, I think I went to play at a neighbor's house and I didn't tell anybody. Yeah. And so everyone was looking for me for a while. Oh, no. So I got back at like 6 and I found everybody just like sitting like on the balcony, like, where have you been? And she may have like threatened, like told the security guard, go get me like a stick. But I mean, I wasn't hit, but it was small things like that. There's ways that she can speak to me that instills so much fear that I'm like, nah, I can't do that. And sometimes I think even like the look of disappointment like hurts so much.
That's more,
Like I feel like those were ways that she sort of like disciplined us in a way.
All right. So Lucy's experience was a little different. She was able to get disciplined without,
good, you know,
without getting actually hit. Bookie.
Yeah.
I mean, where does it start? It sounds like you got a list.
I too was the goodie, but I still got a lot. Like, I got the bell, I got the hanger, I got the you have to kneel with your arms up for like 4 hours.
I'm pro those things though.
Got a lot of slaps. Like, you come on with 80s, no. I come on with a 90, you get a smack. Why didn't you get a 97? I don't know. Me and my sister both got a lot. So, you know, I don't think it damaged us. I mean, we grew up fairly poor, so I feel like my parents, especially my dad, they were very frustrated. They were very angry. So some of those beatings did tip the line between abuse and not. I mean, I could think of a few, but I'm not gonna bring those up because my dad isn't here to defend himself. But you know, it happened.
Yeah.
And I will say though, I feel like I'm a better person for it. I will say that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna dive into that more later on for sure. KMS.
Let me tell you.
Oh,
Wait. I didn't get beat. I got destroyed. Not only me, my siblings as well. We were bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
We were bad, and we got up to a lot of stuff. You know, boys being boys. So I got 2 brothers and a younger sister. Yeah. And we did a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff we shouldn't have did, but we did it anyway. You know, boys being boys and growing up. I love my mom and I love my dad, but boy, it's torture. When, you know, going upstairs to get the bout, knowing why you was going to get the bout, it wasn't the best feeling. Nothing's even happened yet, but just knowing psychologically going upstairs to get a bout, which is the same size of rope that they use to tie down ships and stuff like that. That was one of the scary things, you know, and I used to get it. And I used to slow down to try to slow down the process of obviously getting the bout. As much as you slow down, it's gonna go down. Now, I mean, when I say I got destroyed, I've got war scars to, you know, I would get them out and everything, but I'm not gonna do all that. But, you know, it made me a better person. My dad and mom installed the fear of God, the weather, everything, you know, to say, you know, it made me think like when I got destroyed and I got beat, it made me think twice about doing something. So like if I was to do something I know I wasn't supposed to do, I'd be like, well, I was like, me and my brother, we went to go do something. I can't remember, I think we broke someone's window. That's why we did it. We just broke someone's window. But before we did it, I said to my brother, don't do that, because if we do that, we know what's going to happen. And I was like, nah, but don't worry, get away with it. And me, like a stupid boy, was like, yeah, don't worry, we'll do it, get away with it. What happened? We got caught. Boy, did we get destroyed on that day. I'll never forget it. It's like, literally, my mom told us to go upstairs. She found out about it. She told us to go upstairs. Go have a bath. But she was okay, like, she was like calm with it. Usually she's not calm, you know. She's like, yeah, go upstairs, have a bath, and whatever the case is. Let's go upstairs, have a bath now. We're thinking everything's all right. Grease up with the Vaseline. You know, your parents put hold it for Vaseline on you, whatever the case is. So we had the Vaseline now, and she's like, yeah, we chilled out. Then she's like, called us downstairs. But she actually said, come downstairs. She said, bring the bout with you. When you bring the bout with you, and I'm not talking no ordinary thin bout. This is the bout that's the same size of like rope that you use on ships. Right. So obviously that's what destroyed us. I mean, I had marks on my legs for days, marks on my back and everything, and it's like literally, like I said, I don't resent my parents to do it because we did get up to a lot of bad stuff. But at the same time, like, you know, Big said, it made me a better person, and it did, you know, make me have the respect and discipline to understand, look, you break rules, this is what's going to happen, you know, you have to suffer the consequences. And I just feel that that's why I kind of agree with discipline. But once again, there is levels to abuse and discipline. So I'm all for the discipline. The abuse, I'm not with it.
Well, you got destroyed. Let's just
I got destroyed.
Right.
Shout out to my mom and dad, by the way.
Milan, how are you doing in Ghana?
Oh my God. You know, like, I grew up in Africa, right? My parents didn't discipline me a lot, but if they do, it's crazy. My dad, growing up, beat the shit out of my elder brothers. But so I think I was the last, so he didn't do that to me. But my mom, it's funny, like when you do something, right? Like if your brother gets in trouble and then she would send one of you to like go buy the cane and you're excited. Oh my God, that was me. Like them, I'm like, okay, who's go buy cane? And I'll just run. Like it happens, right? And then the next 2 hours, they use the cane on you, and then when they beating you, they be like, I told you not to do this. And they'll beat you till they finish talking. And then when you're crying, they were like, you crying? No, stop crying. But she didn't really discipline me all the time. But when she does, it's crazy. Like she will beat the shit out of me, and then if I cry, it's a problem. And then she'll beat like anything she finds, sleepers, machete. Like she'll start throwing stuff. You know.
Oh yeah, I remember that too.
She'll start throwing anything she sees, and then when she's beating you, she'll talk. So if she doesn't finish talking, you So sometimes you pray like whatever she wants to say is short. It's like, because if she tells like, why did you go? She'll be like, I told you not to go out. I told you to come home.
It's like the rhythm. The rhythm just
oh my gosh.
She finished her sentence like that. And it was funny, but you feel it, you'll be feeling the pains, but at the same time it's like, do you want to laugh? And when you laugh, it's a problem. When you cry, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand.
Never laugh.
That's the worst thing you can do. You're insulting them, isn't it?
No, it's crazy.
That reminds me of something.
A Crown.
Yeah, I got beaten. I got beaten up. I got beaten not only by my parents, which was the funny part. Like, growing up, my house had like mad people in it, like cousins, aunts, random people I didn't even know if I was related to them or not. Yeah, and they too had I don't know. It's just like, I guess that's why my parents did beat me, but it wasn't as like much because they had other people there to like
catch them in their sleep.
I'm like, your mom's not beating you well. Let me come. It's crazy. Like
it is crazy. I remember one time I was like, I don't know if I was looking for trouble, but I was starting with my mom. Like I felt like I'm gonna be. I started it. I don't care. I'll be honest. I started it. I could admit today I started it with her, and I'm the last born. So I guess I was looking for attention, and she was doing something. She was dealing with my sister, and I was like, hey, pay attention to me. And she was just like, leave me alone. I'm doing something right now. I'm like, I'm still being, annoying with it. So she goes upstairs. She comes down with a belt, and she's like, don't bother me again. Yo, for some weird reason, I don't know what was wrong with me. I still kept going. So like she like ran after me. I ran to the living room. I don't know where I'm running to. I'm gonna be real with you. The scary thing about it, the living room lights was off, so I'm in the dark now, and I'm just like, where am I going? So I just jump on the couch, huddle up, and then she's just like hitting me with the belt, hitting me.
So the next topic, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this,
What about you?
Well, I've said this to Cam as I've said. I'm the oldest of three boys, very, very stubborn, as some of you know. So I got more than destroyed. I got hit.
Wow.
I got thins thrown at, sharp objects. I carried heavy thins, and then you get hit. My mom did the same spelling thing. I got hit with the metal part of the belt. You have your part. So you do that. But my mom did most of the hitting. Then my dad. The time my dad would do it, it would be very rare. It'd be very calm. He's very stoic. He'd be like, just go to your room, pick one of my belts, come out here, and you just he had the same sort of stern face. So you knew that was it. There was no arguing, talking back. But with my mom, since I talked back a lot, it made her angrier. So she would just hit, slap, destroy, and she used to do this thing where she gave me a look in front of everybody. Like if she gave you that look, you knew that once everybody left the house, you knew it was going down, and that was it. But
some Ike and Tina shit.
Yeah, but at the same time, like everybody said here, it's all love. I don't hate any of them, and I actually.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah. I mean, so it ended up becoming this badge of honor. You show the marks to your friends, and for me, I didn't take it as a bad thing. I was very stubborn. I have firm beliefs in things, and I just would ask her why you hitting me, or that you weren't correct. I mean, she would leave something out sometimes, like the Gary cover wasn't open, and then I'd be like, Mom, it wasn't me that did it, and she said it was you that did it, and then I said, no, it wasn't me, and it was you, and then bet the cane, and then you get the cane with that thing that you used to turn Eba, and yeah. Bam, bam,
that
bam.
shit.
And then just but that does actually feed into the next question, which is
you don't challenge like African parents. You don't like.
You don't.
I think in general you shouldn't challenge any parent.
You
shouldn't challenge any parent. Yeah, that's what it is.
I think a part of me enjoyed the fact that I knew that I was right, and
wow.
And you got beat.
And I got beat because of that.
Okay, so my question to you: at what age did you believe that you was right?
I mean, that was for the most part.
Oh wow! Honestly,
right from birth,
you knew he was right. Yes.
For the most part, I mean, if someone looks at you and says, "Hey, you did that wrong," and you didn't do it wrong, you'd be like,
"No, I get that, but
I didn't do it wrong."
But don't you believe if you didn't say anything? Yes, you're in your right mind to obviously say, if I didn't do it, I didn't do it. You stick up for yourself, but just to not get the beating.
Oh yeah.
Well, probably either way, you probably still would have got a beating anyway.
Still would have got it.
He wants to fight for what he believes in.
No, but honestly, my brothers would ask me, "Please shut up." But let's talk about the other side, the other aspect. Okay. You are looking at other people get beat. I went to boarding school. Your headmasters, your house heads, they would basically hit you or beat you, and maybe it would make in front of the assembly, right? And you start getting hit, pop. How do you all feel about watching that? And then we can take it a step further. How do you feel about people that are not your parents hitting you?
I don't play that.
I think it's, I don't know about schools. Some parents I've seen actually encouraging teachers and stuff to hit their kids. But sometimes they need to be careful with that because you find scenarios where it's just getting out of hand. Like kids these days actually get really beat up in school, and it's to a point where I'm like, you know, it all trickles down into different areas about like how they're growing, how they're interacting with their peers. And I think you just need to be careful about that. The whole psychological development in school, like the whole, even with bullying and stuff, I just feel like you don't want to be labeled as that kid. If you ever think about having a child and you're giving someone else the right to do this and have your kid humiliated, that has so many other detrimental effects on how they even develop in school. Kids are disrespecting their parents because sometimes they have the privilege of abusing. They know that the system is in place to protect them, and they're just getting that intertwined with the fact that there are kids out there that need the system. They really need it, and then they come out here and they don't necessarily have the worst conditions, but they put themselves in a situation where they can, you know, seek attention, and it's not even warranted in any way. Sometimes, so I think there has to be like there's a fine line. I mean, with
so what is that line? What is that line, though?
The line of, well, I would
what's the fine line? Yeah.
Well, as you know, there's discipline and there's going across the line where
Abuse.
disrespecting to a degree where if we're in school, rules and regulation, we're in life, rules and regulations are set, period. And if you overstep the mark, there has to be consequences.
Right.
Hence, going back into schools now, if you would disrespect a teacher or talk back to a teacher, they would enforce the spanking. Is it right? Well, if you break a rule, what happens?
You get punished.
So you think it's right? You think it's right? Oh yeah. So you don't. Go ahead.
I think I'm agreeing with Lucia. I think you have to be careful because the person that's not your parent is not your parent. No. So they don't have. There's a point where, as a parent, I'm like, okay, this is enough, you know, and that person doesn't have that. So they can like beat you because they have the permission to beat you. They're gonna take that to another level. And I get the whole like, you know, I'm making an example for the whole school thing. I'm making an example out of you to make sure that other kids don't do it. But sometimes it's like, okay, like somebody can take you like, okay, that I don't want to be that person, and somebody else could take you like, oh, like I'm gonna beat that kid up like that too. Like it's you gotta be careful with parents. All right, I birthed you, like I could do what I want.
You can do what you want.
But for someone else, you gotta be careful giving them that privilege.
Did you guys have beatings in your schools?
I did.
What school did you go to?
In Nigeria?
In Nigeria.
I didn't, but I've seen like, you know, even in school they would like tell matrons or something like in your dorm in boarding school, like, no, if my kid steps out of line, do this. Sometimes it's a little different because in my scenario in my school, the matrons would never abuse that privilege, right? They would never like beat you to an extent where it was like, come on.
But have you ever been like not even abused in the way like maybe just spanked or maybe
flogged,
10 lashes?
Tail lashes.
They call it flogging.
Flogging.
Yeah.
And the story, I know you want to say something.
I feel like being in school is a yes or no for me because there are like bad kids out there. They need to be trained. They need to be disciplined. Especially, I went to school here. I never experienced the school lifestyle in Nigeria, but like, you know, these kids, I don't know. I feel like, being in school should be a 50-50. I feel like discipline is needed, especially like experiencing people from like coming from other countries, coming to America, and they're passing with flying A's, and the ones that lives here is just like they're doing bad in their grades. So it's like, okay, they had discipline. Let's say like a child from Haiti or in Nigeria, in Nigeria, they're like more disciplined, and they know better not to come with you know, failing grades. Then the ones that are from here, we're spoiled, you know, and we just don't have manners. And it's just like a lot of things are just, okay, all right, you know, you're a kid, whatever, or I'll let your mom or your dad deal with you, but you don't really know what's happening in the house. You don't know what's going on. I don't know. They talk back to the teacher. They don't want to do nothing, and it's just, and it's repetitive because it's amongst us black people.
But isn't that the responsibility of the parents?
But that's understandable because that's what's ever going on at home is at home. But then once you're outside, is a different story.
Mm.
So it's the people around is also shaping you at the same time.
They send you to boarding school sometimes to discipline you.
Yeah.
Actually,
That's
they're like, your parents are like, I'm done with this child. Send her to boarding school, almost like it's a punishment.
I agree with what Miss
some
Shreya
kids
is
are just
saying.
not.
Because I went to school
Well, that would
like,
have to
back
be-
home, and then I went to school here. When I went to school back home, we really respect the teacher. When the teacher comes to class, like it's like boom. When
Everybody
I started school
stands
here,
up.
when the teacher comes to class, some people are on their phone,
Exactly.
and they're making fun of the teacher.
Right.
And sometimes I feel like I want to take the teacher's role and beat the shit out of them. Like so, like I'm
So,
like,
so you're for it. You're for it.
I enjoy it. I'm enjoying
You enjoy when people get beat up.
Yeah.
Why do you
when
enjoy
they're
it?
wrong? When they're wrong, because I'm excited. Yeah.
Okay,
Like, you know, I'm just like
Careful.
super excited.
Alright,
On the table.
I love it. It's like it's fun to me to watch like people get beat up and watch their reaction, the scream, the way they cry and jump. It's really funny. Yeah, with their clothes and the chasing the kids around and the kids will be jump. Some people don't really know how to like receive beating. It's the action, like the scream. It's like it's funny. Like it's fun to watch. Like it's fun to watch people get beat up.
I'm like, no, and I don't like watching people watch me get beat up. You guys,
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I know Akron would say something. I know Bookie had a rebuttal to one of the points that were there.
Yeah, I do too.
But after Akron.
Me? All right, so basically, yeah, I'm for it, but like not abuse-wise, because I did get beat inside like my school in Nigeria, but I wasn't like a bad kid or nothing like that. But I ain't gonna lie, there was one time like the assistant principal hit me with a cane. I wanted to knock him out. Nah, for real, I really wanted to knock him out. And then he was like, "Oh, you want to fight?" Like this short old man unbuttoning his shirt, like you want to? I'm just like,
I can imagine.
I'm just like, yo, son. Like I'm about to drop all my morals and beliefs and just fade on you. Like I just like, but like I wouldn't want nobody who's not me hitting my kids. To be honest with you, to discipline them, yeah. But if depending on the relationship, like for example, my siblings, yeah, go ahead, hit my kids, cause I trust my siblings. I grew up with them. I know that they won't, If you're not me, my wife, don't touch my kids. Maybe my siblings. Yeah, but like anything other, like a stranger outside the house, no, don't touch my kids. But as far as like, I don't know you from anywhere, yeah, discipline them, yeah. Tell them to go on their knees, put their hands up, stand on one leg, yeah, but have a blast. But like, to hit my kids, I don't know, that's the thing.
Punishment.
Fair enough.
I ain't with it.
Bookie.
Have to drive by with the AK.
I just don't believe in any stranger touching any other child. That just doesn't work for me. Like family, yeah, like your aunt will slap you, your uncle maybe give you a little something, that's fine because that's family, but a total stranger out of the blue just hitting you and like give them a detention. And for me, all the teacher needed to say was, "I'm gonna call your mother." Forget it.
Yeah. That's you. That's
straighten up.
That would straighten you up.
Straighten up.
But there are some kids that ain't don't call my mom.
But they're beyond. But
sometimes
that's over here.
I even think there's so many like steps before even calling the parents with schools to discipline a child. There's isolation, there's detention, there's all.
I think when the teacher called the mom, the parents, the teacher actually really cared.
That's
I went to a
school.
They don't care. They really don't care. I went to a school.
That's why she's so calm and chill.
I think for the teacher to call the parent, the teacher actually really cares. All those other outlets, like get out my face outlets, go to detention, go to the principal's office, get out my face.
Yeah.
But it's also deeper as well, because obviously, sometimes a child is seeking attention as much as, you put them in isolation or you do this or you do that. That doesn't mean it's going to resolve the issue. Some kids do want that attention of being bad, but maybe they're crying out for something more.
Yeah.
It's just one.
Does beating solve that?
Well, what I will say to that, every child is different.
I will say this. So to Nestraya's point, I really do understand what she's saying. She's talking about some kids actually do need discipline. And Akron went to boarding school. I went to boarding school for my whole high school years, and we had prefect systems. There was head boy. I was the head boy, but there were all these things. I just had to say, shout out to Lifeway International High School. Anyways, but what happened? What happened was when a lot of these kids were hit, they didn't hate the teachers that were hitting them. It wasn't like they were mad. If some people would react that way, especially the ones that came from England or America, like, yo, don't touch me, man. What you trying to do?
It wasn't like that. It was a timing that he hit me. It wasn't like,
I get that.
hit before, but it was that.
But at the same time, they reacted to what you said, where while they were mad at the moment, they didn't let that hold.
Personally, I'm not comfortable with it. It happened when I grew up. Teachers could hit kids with canes, and it was almost the celebrated thing. But I don't know. I think as I've grown older, it's something I'm really not comfortable with. I feel like that responsibility lies with the parents, and teachers can come up with other methods to discipline your kids.
You know, that discipline actually did work for them.
I feel like if they were disciplined, they'll take school more seriously.
Yeah.
You know, especially like kids here in America, they don't take it seriously.
No,
and honestly, because they're not disciplined.
America's so far gone. There's no way in hell
I'm gonna call your parents.
I would allow someone here in this country with the systematic issues to touch my child.
But I'm just
burn
saying,
the whole
like,
building
if
down.
it was in that system, then I think it would have like worked.
So you're saying in the system, would that work with you, Sydney? If it was in Nigeria, would you let your kid get?
Because in Nigeria, I went to school in Nigeria for 1 year before, and I got disciplined, but it was for like, grades, your grade on the test was too low, or you didn't have the school hairstyle.
Right.
And it was simple. Put your hand out. It wasn't like all the way over here, lashing, nothing on my body. It was always hands. Always hands.
Like
always hands. No,
it depends
it's a cane.
The cane.
Always cutting grass. Made you cut the grass.
Yeah.
Even like people that like look after you, like nannies and stuff. Sometimes nannies are given those privileges to like discipline like children. In Uganda, there was a huge, like I don't know if some of you saw it, of a nanny that like beat a child to a point where this child was she was used to the beating, and you could see it in her behavior. The parents had to like put a camera because they sensed something was off with their child. And this video went viral, and she's in
it was
jail
in
now.
Uganda.
It was
where they were like on the couch and she threw the child on the floor.
That was in Uganda.
See, that's
that's abuse.
That's abuse, yes. But then, if you, I don't think in that scenario the parents gave her the privilege. But there's times when the parents can almost, or the nannies or whatever looking after a child can see what the parents do and then think it's okay when the parents are away to just continue doing it because
that's what
So you believe in permission. So if it's not your parent, you should have to get permission from the parents.
I don't think you should. I think if you're not doing it, don't give anybody permission to do it.
I give nobody no permission.
Don't give.
Can I hit your kids? Like, I don't think that's a question.
No, what I'm saying is if the parents say, hey, if you're allowed to do that, not you asking permission, the parents give you the permission without you asking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's so many ways to discipline children without hitting them. It's just that people don't know how to communicate properly. They think everything should be communicated with fear. Yes, your children are supposed to fear you, but every time you start raising your hand, there becomes a tolerant level as to, now you're like, okay, hit me. Like, so you're going to keep beating them? Yeah. If your child doesn't even respect you on a mental level where you sit down and really, not everything like, oh, Timmy, sit down, like, those, but like you have to have some type of communication. Discipline with your children from young. It gets to a point where they might be far gone. You could beat them however you want. You might wake up dead. I mean, not wake up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like some kids are killing their. Oh, you beat me like that? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to kill you in your sleep. And Nigerian kids, I heard. I was talking to my mom about it. Like, there was 2 instances here in the States, one in Chicago, one in Long Island. Some Nigerian kids killed their parents. Yep, killed them in the house. I'm like, wait, you got both your parents and you still kill them?
We got these white kids killing their parents too. Exactly. The parents
All
know nothing.
I had it, Mom. Exactly.
No, because they get Timmy. No.
But
it's not only just beating. Some people just only leave it to beat. Oh, I beat my kid. Okay, your kids are gonna kill you then.
I think the difference between America and the countries back home is that like there's respect, like, and it's not, you don't have to touch me for me to respect you. Like I respect my parents. Like, so whenever I did something and I got hit, I probably didn't do it because I respect you so much that I wouldn't even do it, So I think the whole thing of sending kids back home it's not really punishment. It's so you can learn, because back home, everybody, like, you have to respect everyone.
It's instilled in
Here,
society.
I just respect my mom, my dad, everybody else can get it. You know what I mean? So back home, it's like you respect everyone.
Right.
You say good morning to everyone. Like, so that's that culture that people will try to instill. And like, it's just not here at all.
We need that.
I just feel like society, especially the American society, it's different from, the African society for sure. Unfortunately, the American society doesn't really promote respect. They promote freedom. And there is nothing worse than a disrespectful child, in my opinion. So I just tend to see with, especially when you start going to school, that, once again, you see Billy talking to his parent in such a way, maybe I can get away with it. Once again, if I tried that at home, I would get my ass kicked.
Okay. Because it's truly that it takes a village thing.
You know when I really realized that beatings weren't really necessary? When I went to the village and my grandmother, well, she was like 80-something.
You went to the village?
No, I'm telling you, yeah, I went to the village. I know my village.
Okay,
I was born in the village.
Yeah.
So I went to visit her. And one of my cousins got on my nerves so bad, like I beat the crap out of him. And she came and she looked at me, 80 years old, like, but she's like so healthy. And she was like, basically in our tongue, she was like, we don't beat children here. There's no reason for you to have to raise your hand and touch anyone to get your point across, especially people who are younger than you and look up to you no matter what they do. And it made me feel so bad. Yeah. And she was just like, I don't put my hand, well, of course she don't put her hands on nobody, but she doesn't, like in the compound, no one gets, the children don't get beat, and they're good kids. He just got on my nerves, so I beat his ass. And I just sat there and I was like, what, they're not beating kids over here? Like, and she was like, don't put your hands on anyone, like you can get your point across without I was just like, I thought you just beating people all over Africa. And she was just like, no, we don't do that here. Like, you need to chill.
All right, well, to Sydney's point, that's a great point there. I was reading an article, a New York Times article, that said blacks, just African Americans, including Africans, that they are twice as likely to hit their kids than other minorities. Now, I know there's and maybe I disagree. Do you believe that this is something more prevalent in the black community?
Yes.
I think it's
no. Definitely.
You say definitely, you say no.
They used to, like, in America, like years back, like kids used to get beat at school. Like, like the kids would get disciplined. But I'm gonna be real with you, I don't know what happened where they cut that line and they was just like, all right, we're not gonna beat
Thank God they did.
Because because like, I mean, you could say thank God they did, but at the same time, if you look at how America is probably like the last on like the education, like for like we're the last, we're on the bottom, and that's probably why as a country we might end up on the bottom because our education system is just like so.
With all the laissez-faire.
No, you know what it was. You know what it was. It wasn't like a beating like. It wasn't like a random abuse of a beat. It was just basically you do something bad, they'll punish you, they'll beat, whether it was beating or, like, in a way it was somewhat similar to the Nigerian.
Okay. But question, do you think that it's more prevalent with the black community?
No, I think it's more talked about.
Yeah, it's more talked. Like the kids open their mouth about it. We'll be like, yeah, you know, my mom's gonna beat me, and it's regular. It's regular.
You said no. You're adamant about no. Why you say no?
First, black people only make up 11% of this country. Are you telling me that all these white people aren't hitting their children from the South?
Other minorities.
Yeah. All right.
You said no.
I disagree.
And then if we're turning this on a global scale, I've got Asian friends.
Me too.
Middle Eastern friends.
Asians go
Are you kidding me? And then this whole talk of, if you beat your kids, their IQ rates are going to go down. Well, Nigerian, Korean, Japanese, Chinese, Romanian, we'd all be living in a corner somewhere.
So
There's no way.
You disagree. There's
no way. The thing is that I just don't like when you're saying that one group is different than the other. Once again, statistically, that makes no sense. We're not the predominant race in America, if we're talking about America. And I know plenty of white kids that got beat as well, Southern especially. So I just didn't like that way. And then when you're saying that one group is particularly different than another, it starts breeding some negativity because, you know, whether you call it discipline or abuse or beating your child, it still breeds negative connotation, and I don't like that it's being directed towards us. Then, you know, like I said, Asians, Middle Eastern, you know, South American, like we all do it. So I feel like it's just a generalization I just didn't appreciate.
Agreement on this side.
That's why I said just.
Okay.
I feel like
If we're talking about global scale, there's no way.
Oh, global scale? Yeah, never mind.
You know what it is with the minorities as well? Because the truth is, the reality of it all is like majority of us were poor. You understand? You know, I'm not gonna say we're middle class because that's lying. Let's not lie to ourselves. We're broke. You can't pull out 150,000 right now. We're all broke.
Oh, I'll pull out 150,000.
Akron, sorry, bro. I'm not broke. We're not broke. I don't. What do you call broke? Nah.
No, let's let Akron say. Let's let Akron say what he wants to say.
Let me make my point.
Say
you are broke.
I'm not broke.
Oh yeah, I'm calling us broke.
Let's I'm not saying literally. We're, you know, you guys. I know y'all balling out here. But with minorities, like we have the stigma of like, and no, it's not even a stigma. Like living in the hood, the projects. Life ain't that sweet, man. It's like life is not that great, and I feel like the parents, they're mad at so many other things. It's not even just the kids. It's just they're mad at a whole lot, the way their life are, and then they take their anger out on the kids. And then we have the people, let's say for example, who are living good lives. Why do you think they say, oh, rich kids are spoiled? Besides just money, like, I mean, how many times do you really hear, you know, rich kids really, I mean, rich like parents really, you know, really doing so much, like as far as abusing their
because you just don't hear about it. That's what it is.
That's true.
It does happen, but you just don't hear about it.
Tsunami, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not true. Like, I didn't grow up poor, but I still got hit. You know what I mean? It's because my dad would be like, well, when I was growing up, you know, so it's when they grew up, this is how they were disciplined. So this is how they discipline.
I was referring to like the
minorities
in America. I wasn't referring to like Africans or Jamaicans.
I mean, I think it's a mixture of that. Like, it's a mixture of them, and it's also a mixture of them working so much that when you come home and you hear this person did this, and like you come home to all of these things now, like you got to deal with so many things. You got to deal with bills, you got to deal with your children, you got to deal with this. Oh, you want to come home to everything good. You don't want to come home to, oh, this person broke a window. Like, you're gonna get angry automatically. It's already anger, and then that's how you like deal with it. I think that like I'm all for like discipline. Trust me, I'm for discipline. But when it gets to abuse, that's where I draw the line. That's where I draw the line. When the person is like crying like on a whole nother level, that's abuse now. Like, or if the person did like a little thing and you're beating them as if they like committed some type of crime, like that's abusive. So I think if the beating doesn't match whatever they did, that's abusive. That's like you now just unleashing whatever.
Well, let me flip it on all of you all. Are any of you gonna hit your kids?
Yeah.
What? Oh. You guys are making it look like fair. God, these kids.
I don't know if I'll.
You are
unless
scary.
I maybe push to a certain extent for a little slap or something, but for the most part, I'm gonna just go with what has worked for me or what I've seen has worked for me.
Correct.
And if I see my kid getting out of line with, but I think it's so important to look past just because you raise your child in a way that you think is right? You think you're doing the best to your ability. You send them off to school, they come back with an attitude. You need to understand what has brought this character back, what has brought this behavior back. And some parents even go as far as like looking into the friends they have, understanding the relationships they have with their parents, seeing how they differ maybe in some of your upbringing with maybe other kids, but also being able to openly even take in other kids that you think may have a bad attitude and try and just like guide them back on track. I've always grown up, I wasn't necessarily beaten growing up, so I would try and use some of the methods that I've seen work in my household. But then again, a slap isn't too bad, just a little one, nothing like too violent. If they pushed me to an extent where after strike 3, you're still just like taking me for a ride and not realizing that I brought you into this world. Yeah.
You're ready.
No,
you stay ready.
Wait.
You said woo. But Bookie gave me a sigh. I don't know. Are you gonna hit your kids or are you gonna?
You know, after this conversation, I don't think I am.
But before the conversation.
Before I was like, maybe I'll do some pow-pows, maybe a quick slap here and there.
A quick slap.
Because, you know, sometimes you need a quick slap. But, a good old quick slap. Now, see, it's like Tsunami's pow-pow, but only not on your hands, on your face. So, perfect example, and this actually happened a few years ago, and these people were white. The kid was having a tantrum. I want this, mommy. No. She said, no, Billy, you can't have it. Da-da-da. He's still going crazy. And she gave a whop, just a quick, straightened up, just a quick pop. No one needs to get abused. No one needs to bring out the belt, but a quick pop will set you straight.
It has to be quick.
But, you know, just thinking about it, I don't know, for like, just as you were saying, you know, when you get to a certain point, hitting becomes null and void. And I'm just thinking about the culture we're growing up in now. And, you know, now, if I take away your iPhone, your iPad, all your communication devices, everything, and you're just stuck somewhere, then I think that might do the trick. And then also creative ways. So like, and it's funny how we're talking about like these things pass on, because I remember talking to, it was like a group of us, and I had to kneel down, hands up. Another friend of mine was Eastern European, Romanian. She had to kneel down, hands out, books out. Another guy, Asian, kneel down on rice, hands up with books on. So it's like creative ways. Trust me, once you've done a squat for 4 hours, you won't do it again.
You got strong thigh muscles though.
Exactly. Then they'll be ready for soccer.
I just think it's very interesting that your mind changed in this conversation. Maybe some people listening will probably feel the same way, and I think Tsunami's point is the one that keeps staying in my head. KMS, you and A Crown were the most vocal about being sure about, you know, inflicting some. I don't want to say that way.
Discipline.
Disciplining your kid. Let me say it. Disciplining your kid.
I don't know.
Why do you feel that way?
I mean, like Big said, you know, we've all had some valid points, and I do think I've kind of like changed.
You do?
Hell no! I'm beating the shit out of you. I'm telling you now. Do not disrespect me, girl or boy. I'm beating the shit.
You get a quick smack.
No, ain't no smack. I'm telling you. I'm gonna release hell.
Gonna be swiveling.
You're gonna release hell.
No, I'm telling you. Don't disrespect. No, I'm a fan. Listen, manners does not cost a thing.
Yes.
Right? Don't cost a thing. And I hate people, especially these children that are running around disrespecting adults like it's nothing. No, don't get me wrong. It won't work for everyone, and I get that. It won't work for everyone. What? Why are kids disrespectful? Kids are disrespectful because they ain't got no damn manners. They ain't had no discipline. Now look, people might be watching this thinking, yeah, well, not all kids are the same. Yeah, I get that. But listen, you need to rein the hell on kids. Let them know. Some of the cast members said it from an early age, right? From when the baby, not when the baby first comes out to a certain grade, but kids know. Listen. One of the first words that children learn these days is no. What the hell do you mean no? Don't tell me no. Nah, I'm not with that. I'm telling you, I mean, listen, I'm all for discipline. Listen, let me tell you something. This is a message to my kids. I ain't even got kids yet. This is a message. Listen, I'm telling you now, I'm going to beat the shit out of you just to let you know that now. That's a message, just remember that. But let me tell you now, I might change and I might soften up, but I'm still gonna beat the shit out of you. But when you get to a certain age, no, it's not happening. You're not answering back. You're not saying I want no. For instance, look how much babies get to 2, and one of the first words that they know is no. What do you mean no?
That is true.
And they say it with so much confidence.
I'm not with that.
You don't play.
I don't play, and I feel that I might come across. I don't know if it's ignorance, not the right word. I might come across that being lethal. One of the kids. No, I'm not with it.
No, that's key because people start laughing at stuff that children do from young.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up. The kids saying shut up. Oh, it's really funny. And then that really grows. And then they're like, oh, my kid doesn't listen to me. Well, you thought that was funny.
Saying shut up and saying no.
So I'm not with it. Like my mum and dad used to say the term monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
Right.
And kids, what they see the adults do, they feel it's acceptable and they can do it.
Yeah.
No.
You know what? And you're right. It's the way I actually worded the question that does make that. you're not inflicting pain, you're disciplining your kids.
right.
And there's nothing,
use that word.
your method of disciplining can be that. And
Release
there's
hell. That's
yeah,
my
release hell. What about you,
Oh
Milan?
my God.
I really don't like beating kids because when I do,
This one. He said I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
He
it.
said he enjoyed it.
Watching others.
He wants to get the cane.
Well, I actually don't like. No, I really
He'll
don't like.
he'll let his wife beat his kids. You know what I'm saying? He'll
I
give
really
her
don't
the
like beating kids, but when I do, it's crazy. Like I've
You've done it before.
I have. My nephew said, "Oh my God, I beat
Wow,
them," and they're like really scared of me. No, what I do is I beat them, but then I still have a bond with them. They like come to me, so that's what I want to.
So that's what Tsunami was
That's
saying
what I want to
with
like
the
develop with my
balance.
kids. I want to like, whatever that works for us. If beating them would work for us, yeah. But then like I wouldn't want to beat them, but if my son slams the door on me, like I hate you, Dad. You are leaving my house. You are like
beating you up the house.
No, I won't beat them. No, first of all, if you are my kid and then you disrespect me, not like we have disrespect on disrespect. Like you should disrespect me on a level of fuck you, Dad. Like you know how these foreign kids behave, like F you, Dad, I hate you, slam the door. I would just kick you out. If he slams the door, he's leaving my house.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I will say
If that's what's gonna work for me, then yeah, I wouldn't want to beat him. Like if I beat you and you're still in my house, it's a problem. Like just go. Just go. I really don't want to.
I respect that.
Yo, if anyone called me, I'd be happy to release hell on anyone's kids. Just let me know. If you need the help, call me.
Let's hear Astraea's point.
It depends on the child, honestly. It's gonna be a balance where like I want to be a friend to my child, but at the same time, I'm your mom. Like you have to respect me either way. And if you dare try to say something crazy, I will beat you. But like okay, foundation starts at home, you know, and your kids know better. But it's just like once they step out, they see something else, and they come back with like you just look at them, they change their whole behavior, just change, and you have to like talk to them when they're outside. It kind of interests them more. So it's just like, okay, it kind of got their attention. They're like, okay, what is this? Oh, this is different. Okay, but then when they come back, you know, you notice that their behavior changed. And sometimes it's really not good because they're probably surrounding themselves in bad company. So you have to, you know, talk to them and correct them. And if they don't listen, you know, which is most likely because they will probably put themselves in that predicament again, you will have to beat them. And if they don't listen, then that's when beating needs to be there. Like it needs to be.
Okay, so it's gonna be depend on you.
Right, it depends on the child.
For me, like I said, is setting them up with the ground rules, and also like not being 100% like your best friend, but having a relationship with you. Because a lot of the times, like people just because you don't really know your child, you just hear they did something and it's bomb. Like you don't know what happened. So for me, it would be more like. For example, my friend and I were babysitting like two sets of siblings.
Okay.
And one set was just well behaved. And it's not because they got beat all the time. It's just because they knew what to do. Their parents told them, okay, when you go somewhere, this is what you do. A lot of times, the parents are not around to teach you. So it's when you go to school and you just run in the classroom and da-da-da-da. So I think I'll try my best to like give my children like discipline within how they act, and then from there I'll kind of see what will fit. Like I think I'm gonna be like a prankster mom. Like I'm gonna discipline you in ways that like
psychologically.
Yeah, like
that's what I'm saying.
What? I'm gonna discipline you, but I might not touch you. If I do, it will be a pow, like not abusive.
Call me.
Like
I'm
not calling you.
No one's got kids, right?
Except you.
No, except you.
That's a lie.
You got like 5.
So I suppose we can speak on it now, but being in the situation will it change?
Yeah, it could change.
Because there's people that I'm hell for discipline, so I'm all up for it. But you never know, I might have a daughter. And she might have a little cute. She was like, you know, he's like, oh man, I can't do it. She might just give you the look, you know, he's like, oh, I can't do it. You know
that's how I feel.
But I'm saying, will it change for any of us?
Well, I mean, I like a lot of people here. I do a lot of stuff with the youth and young kids and big brother. I'm around a lot of kids, and they respect me in much the same way. And these are kids in bad communities, right? They're foster kids. I'm doing a lot of big brother, and they respect me because I'm very clear on the rules and the boundaries. So for me, I don't think it would change because I try to do that every weekend.
But have you ever being pushed to a certain degree where even though the boundaries have been set, they keep pushing you and pushing you and pushing you. But then
they're
no, and I get that. But then you gotta ask yourself,
10 and younger kids.
And I get that. But then you gotta ask yourself, well, where is the cutoff point? If they're not listening, and don't get me wrong, beating discipline is not for everyone. I get that. But if you have the boundaries and you have the whatever the case is, but the cutoff point, when is enough? No.
Yeah, you're right. You never know. But I mean, I'm just saying. I'm answering for now. I don't think I would.
But there has to be some of our balance as well, because you can discipline your kids to a certain degree, and we know when they get to a certain age, they're going to feel like, oh, well, I don't need to listen, whatever the case is. But then you could, discipline them where it's a verbal way. And kids, depending on how they are and who they're hanging around with, what environment they're in, they could all rebel. So you have to kind of like try and find that balance. And the key word is balance, where, you want to install the fear, but you also want your kids to come and speak to you. So once again, a word we're being using again is communication. It has to be love. Don't get me wrong, I will unconditionally love my children.
Unconditionally beat them too.
Very true. But
they're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, so that's why I add so. That was
all right.
Really.
Well, then my question to you is to go off this Akron is, what are other methods? We said break
Stop them.
No, sell they. You know what it is? If they have a, if they,
That's
too
Are
much.
you
That's
serious?
so much.
What? No, I said sell their phones. Sell their stuff.
So sell the stuff.
First of all, you need to teach the child humility. Why are you getting a child a smartphone? These people that give their children iPhone, I seen a kid with an iPhone 7. It's come up on me.
It's true. He says there's nothing. He said there's nothing wrong with that.
Your child should not have a smartphone. That's my personal opinion. There's flip phones. There's you have to teach your child humility. If you feel like you gotta get to the point to break your.
Okay, so you're saying
breaking a phone. Okay, so and I'm gonna go. If I'm a girl, I'm probably fucking some dude already, and he's gonna get me a new phone. These children are getting stuff. Like I said, these kids are getting things from other people. It don't matter if you break it. If you take away her shoes, she's gonna get some and leave them at her friend's house and wear them to school when she goes there. So you have to find other ways. Just material things are not a way to discipline someone.
What do you mean break a phone?
Wait, finish.
No, I said sell the phone. I'm sell the phone.
You said break and sell. Which one?
No.
Both of them are
either way, they both not gonna have a phone no more. That's what I'm saying.
Take away. Hold on, we're not gonna be able to hear this. We're not gonna be able to hear this.
Take away whatever they love, what they think they love so much, whether it's being out with their friends all day, whether having their friends come over, whether just take that, and I will explain why I'm taking that away.
These kids are bad nowadays. They getting stuff
but I'm not gonna let them get to that bad level.
They getting it.
All right, okay. So Lucy, you vehemently agree
in the school with sketches
with the idea of taking or breaking or destroying something that the kid has.
I'm sorry, destroying is not going to solve that. That's money that's your money, first of all. Okay. So breaking, selling, I don't get that. If you want to take it away, confiscate it, sure. I get it. Like kids are passionate about something, and if you can restrict them from doing it or having it, that's a great way to do it. I was just arguing about breaking.
So then what's your method?
I'll take it away, sell it.
I agree.
I guess we're speaking about teens in this.
We're
talking about your kids in general. Once you have kids, you're not gonna. And you decided not to
but just about
discipline them.
What other methods would you take?
What methods would you use?
Material things are not a way to discipline someone. They will find a way to get it somewhere else. Especially
it depends on the child.
It depends.
A grown adult could lose his material things and lose his mind right now. So with kids, it's like you gotta really understand your kids and what it is. I could have a kid who don't care.
So you're giving your child material things just to keep a rein on them?
No, it ain't about that.
Then why do you think that's something that should be used as a?
It was one of the examples.
Okay, well, so let's focus on solutions here. So what we've heard your side, Akron. You talked about taking some stuff psychologically, making them feel like they're not as grown as they think they are. What other options are there?
Starve them.
Starve them?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Because kids don't.
You gotta be careful about that. What do you mean by starve them?
Starve. Starve them.
No, starve.
Not give them food.
Not give them for how long?
Because that's what my mom. I'm saying this from experience. That's one thing that can get to me. Because how am I gonna get money? Because sometimes my mom she will make this food and then she will hide. If we're not speaking.
I just want to say we don't endorse starving, but
I'm gonna endorse starving.
Milan, y'all petty.
But
wait, make him finish.
I want to hear this.
Because if you starve the kid, where else is he gonna get money? He has to listen to you. He lives under your roof.
Oh, you mean lunch money?
lunch, breakfast,
not
dinner,
giving
whatever. Just
That's not
don't.
even 24 hours.
So they don't eat.
No, not even money. The food is in
The
the
food
house.
is in
but
the
you
house.
can't
It's
just
not
order
starving.
that
Where you
food.
gonna get that food from? It worked. I mean, that's one thing my mom did growing up.
You want to eat in front of
You
your
were
kids while they
starved.
starving?
You were not given food for 24 hours. Oh, okay, for
She wouldn't
a few
entertain me
meals.
either. Like when she makes the food, you would know she wouldn't like. Even when she's making the food, she will make it in a way like you feel like you're not even part of this meal. You know what I'm saying? Like she's like she'll make this food and then she'll like share it and then share it in a way. When you're looking at it, you're like, no, I don't think. I was part of this. I was part of this process.
So, but can you say there's a limit to the starving at least, so that just I don't think you mean 2 days.
No, I mean that if you apologize to her, yeah.
Until you apologize. So starve them until you apologize.
Starving until you see that they change it, or you can like starve them and then later on call them and be like, you're lucky you just. This, so you can eat that.
I gotta let Bookie say something this because Bookie's been.
You have to get it.
I get it.
Why wouldn't you starve your kid? But you want to beat them?
Honestly, I don't.
Maybe
What's
let
the
them eat
difference?
last.
But Bookie, let
What did she say? What is Lucy saying?
Let them eat last.
Maybe let
I
them-
mean, to
Yeah,
touch on Milan's point, like I will probably do like, depending on like, I'll probably do like an invisible challenge for a whole day.
Ignore them?
Like pretend that they're invisible.
Non-existent, right?
Yeah, not like they'll be like, Mom, I'm like, hey, don't I have a child somewhere? Like, because when you do that and then they realize like, wow, like this person doesn't even know I exist. It's like, I don't really care about material things. Like if you take my phone away or you take something away from me, like I'm a very creative person. I'm gonna find something else to do in my time, I feel like if you take away experiences, like if I'm supposed to go somewhere and I really, really want to go and I can't go, hey, everybody's going to be at that thing and I can't go, that's going to like hurt me more than you taking something away from me. I think experiences are very, very like, even with the whole starving thing, like Milan said, it's something about not being at the table. There's something about not being around the rest of the family that's like, damn. Next time I tell you something, listen. Like, I'll do like different things, depending on what it is. I'll do different things that will kind of make them scared to lose me as a parent or lose the people around them. I'll probably take away experiences more than things.
Grounding,
Because I don't care about things. Like, you could take my phone. I don't really care. But if you take experiences away from me, like everybody's going to this thing and I have to stay home. Every year we go visit my cousins in this place, and this year I have to stay home and go to camp or something like that. Like, experiences are things you will value, and you be like, no, like I really. And also, even if I take away a material thing, you have to do something to earn it back. Not just an apology. Yeah. You have to do something. Like, now you gotta work to get it back.
Like that.
Now you gotta do choice. So me, it's more about also understanding my child and the things that they really like. So if I know my child likes cookies, just different things. Like, again, getting to know your child, understanding what they care about, what they don't care about, things that will faze them. Maybe I have a kid that if I beat them, they'll be like, okay, next, more, you want more? Like, so just knowing them and kind of understanding. If I have a child that really likes attention, that's the one I'll do the invisible thing on. So
that's true.
Because we give it like a week.
Straight and Bookie on other methods.
Like Milan said, the starving, but I wouldn't starve my child. Like, if they hate peas and carrots, I give them peas and carrots. And the others gonna get cake,
Okay.
Or like ignore. I'm very good at that. If a kid, especially if they're not my kid, because I usually like raise my own kids, I'll ignore them. Like, okay, right now I don't even want to talk to you because you're just misbehaving. And they're like, oh, Estrella, go, can you make noodles for me?
Okay. That's nice.
So yeah, stuff like that.
All right. You, sir?
I was just thinking, actually, that kind of did happen to me, because I used to, not used to, but if I didn't like something, my mom would just take the plate away, and she'll say, well, I guess you're not hungry. And you don't eat for the rest of the day. And the next morning, you will eat your oatmeal, and you're going to smile about it.
Right.
But I think for me, it's just, my mom used to say charity begins at home. I feel like if you just get them really young and just instill these disciplines in them. Like I can think of a good friend of mine. She is Colombian. Never beat her children. Their children are now 12 and 8 or something like that. And it just started from day one. This is how you talk to people who are older than you. This is how you treat other children. This is how, and then as you were saying, like once you grow up, there's less likely of a chance. Now when they get to school and peer pressure and all that stuff, there's going to be some backlash, and when they want to become their adult selves. But I feel like if you just get them from day one, from Jump Street, you'll be okay.
You know, a lot of us feel like, you know, kids aren't really paying attention. They don't really know what's going on until they hit maybe like school age, 5 or 6. Fake news, incorrect. You got to get them when they are from 0 on. Like I said, I have a friend from the time this child knew said mama, like it was, this is how you talk to adults. If anyone is 5+ years older than you, this is how you speak to them. When you're entering a room, you say good morning to every single person that has eyes on you. Like it just always starts from Jump Street. And the earlier you start, it's just like teaching math or teaching a language. The earlier you start, the better they get it, the easier they get it, and the more copacetic all will be.
Yeah, I mean,
for the most part.
I think for me, making sure every moment is a teaching moment.
Exactly.
You know, a lot of
that's good.
Whenever I mentor kids, or what my mom used to do is, believe it or not, she used to teach me through soap operas. We'll watch Bold and the Beautiful, and she'll have me. Yeah, no, it wasn't. I love All My Children and all that.
I think making every moment a teaching moment is one of the best ways to raise the youth today. I think we live in a world that's full of information. Everybody is impressionable at such a young age, and if we don't let kids and children know the consequences of their actions, it's really hard for them to really understand and comprehend why they'll be punished. So I think I gave the example of my mom using soap operas as teaching moments, whether she'll let me know why that type of person is a bad person to emulate and this type of person is a good person. I think if kids can see their heroes in what they consume and say, wow, I really want to be like that, it's almost easier to digest.
But you'd have me tell me who are the bad people, who are the good people, why shouldn't you do that? Like those type of things. And with the kids that I mentor, sometimes I have them write reports on the movies. If they say, I want to watch a movie, I'm like, okay, you know that after this movie, you're going to tell me who your favorite characters.
Do you watch the kissing scenes too?
Oh, no, I have to close my eyes. I have to close my eyes.
There's a whole lot of kissing scenes.
Yeah, there's a lot of kissing scenes. But basically, understand that everything is an opportunity for you to empower. And I love Nestria's point of working your way back. Because then, if you do something wrong and you know that you can earn it by actually doing the work, that sort of empowers you at some point, but also lets you know that, man, I don't want to go through this again. I think the key takeaway that we're all getting from this is that you have to do the work as a parent to know your kid, what they like, what they don't.
Teach them.
And make sure that they understand what they did wrong. All right, so this has been a great discussion. I've loved every moment of it. Some minds have changed. Some people have brought up different.
I'm 100%.
He's sticking with this. Kids. Thank you all for listening. This has been a very great discussion on disciplining your kids and the fine line between abuse and discipline. I want to thank you all for participating. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts. I hope everyone listening was able to get something valuable today. And till next week, make sure you follow the African Millennials everywhere on social media, Instagram or Twitter. And stay tuned until
KMS comes and beats.
Stay tuned till KMS comes around.
How about here?
Be African, be proud, and goodbye.
Thanks for watching, and if you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you next time.